Yo, what's cracking, people? This is Raw and Uncut, and today we're back with another episode. I believe this is gonna have to be I uploaded earlier, episode 13. And when I uploaded it, YouTube they gave me a strike within about 10 minutes of uploading it. They gave me a strike, and they gave me a warning. I guess the content was against community guidelines or whatever the hell. I don't even have 36 subscribers, but they're paying attention, obviously. I guess some people say, oh, it happens to everyone. But if you know my track record and what they did to me before on other platforms, then you'll understand what I'm talking about is probably going on here. I got a little bit too much into it in that video. So that let me know where the guidelines are, whether they'll let you stretch them out to the boundaries before they actually take your content down and give you a strike. So it's all good. I'm a small ass channel. Like I said, I only got 36 subscribers right now, or 38, whatever the hell it is. And like, for real, bro, hey, it just lets me know that they're probably more than likely still on me, watching what I'm saying. But we're just gonna keep rolling here, raw and uncut. This is gonna be another episode 13. Hopefully they don't take this one down. But with this one, what we're gonna talk about, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about why I believe and many others believe, even though to the contrary, a lot of people say, "Oh, rap and hip hop ain't dead. It's well alive. It's still alive." And the essence of it and its true roots, to me, is dead. Most people will be like, no, because they think because something comes out and they like it, that it doesn't mean that hip hop or rap is dead. And at the same time, they associate certain type of music and call it hip hop, and it ain't. The shit Drake and all them do, that's not hip hop. That's pop music. I don't care what you say. That's pop music. He is not emceeing. And on other songs, does he start rapping and he's kicking dope lyrics and all that? Yeah, his ghostwriters make him look and sound good. And he's a good actor, so he can pull it off. But true MCs, you know what I'm saying? True MCs, that's what made hip hop. Real DJs, that's what made hip hop. B-boys, graffiti, all that, everybody knows all the elements of it. But the main element is the microphone skills and the DJ. Those two elements right there that make one. You don't have hip hop with none of that. Hip hop was born on the streets. It used to be a voice of the unheard. It was the only voice that we had. If you were from a hood, a ghetto, whatever you want to call it, anywhere in the US, and there was a hip hop and rap floating around back in the 80s and 90s, it was really, really conscious. And there was a lot of things that was being said that people were feeling way more just on a general note where, oh, the beat's cool and the lyrics are dope, it's a cool song. There was a lot of messages in the music. Back in those days, you had to be a real MC on the mic to even get a shot, to even try to record anything. Everything costed money, right? Versus nowadays, any old dweeb off the street that maybe don't even have a history in like pimping, or don't even have a history in uh street activities, let's say, and or somebody don't even got any experience just as an MC. But any old dork, dweeb, any old nerd can go. Sorry, damn, I shouldn't be using those words. Man. But anyway, any old dweeb, dork, nerd can go buy a system, hook it up, and then just perfect their fucking verses over and over and over again. Rewrite them, and then put them together and put it out and give it an image and say it's this and say it's that. Doesn't mean it's gonna fly. But the fact that it's happening is something that wasn't happening back then. Obviously, it wasn't as accessible, studio equipment and stuff like that wasn't as accessible back then without some good change, with some good money you had to put up. Studio time was very expensive, 100, $200, $300 an hour. Engineering, all that, mixing, mastering for bands, everything. So yeah, it's a lot different now. You don't need to put out all that money, and you can just do it right on your laptop or your computer or whatever, right at your house. But to me, that's the reason why hip hop and rap is dead. Because see, in the essence of true hip hop, most people that had something to say, they had come from hard street life. Some of them had found their way out pretty quick, were from that, and then kind of made it real quick and got out of it. Some were born into it, never got out of it. Some remain legends, even though they never went mainstream, because they are the true essence of what rap and hip hop is. There's a difference between rap and hip hop. What I'm talking about here is real hip hop, real rap. To me, it's dead. This is the reason why. Anybody can pick up a microphone. You got rappers holding microphones like if it was a fucking beetle. They're holding it like if it was a donkey. Let's just say that. You got rappers walking around performing and shit, and they're holding a fucking microphone like a donkey. Let's keep it a buck. Or they get behind the mic in these videos and they want to create this outlandish visual to get your attention. Really no meaning behind what the fuck they're saying. The lyric, every bar they're kicking is just a bunch of shit that's rhyming and sounds cool and has a good cadence to it, but there's really no message behind it, right? There's really no message when you think about it. You hear it, there's really no message. Where's the true essence of hip hop? Just because the dude is rapping over a beat automatically makes it hip hop? Okay, I'll give you that. But there's a level to the hip hop. What's the content? What's the concept? What's the rhyme scheme? What's the cadence? What's the rhyme pattern? What's the metaphors? You know, all that ties in together. Some rappers are really great with being intelligent and just the way they bounce the beat and the metaphors they put in and the vocabulary and all that, but can't tell you a really, really good story. And you got motherfuckers like Ice Cube and Spice One, Tupac, even people that wrote for Easy E. You got, you know, all that type of stuff and them type of caliber of rappers and MCs that are from the West Coast. And usually West Coast or anywhere else is usually, you know, categorized as rap. It's not really categorized as, you don't call it West Coast hip hop. Some people do, but that's when you think of West Coast hip hop, you know, you think of the Del the Funky Homo Sapien, and you know, you think of Souls of Mischief, and you think of Hieroglyphics, and you think of all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Even Cypress Hill, I would throw them in that category, but of course they're all in the category themselves. But you know, when you talk about West Coast rap, and you're talking about Ice Cube and you know Ice-T even, and Ice-T doesn't even, when you people talk Mount Rushmore or the West Coast, I know I'm going a little bit off the subject, which is why hip hop and rap is dead. But a quick side note, when people talk Mount Rushmore of the West Coast when it comes to rappers, who had the biggest impact and who should be up there? A lot of people say Pop, Cube, Dre, and Snoop, right? A lot of people say them, or they switch Snoop out for Too Short, right? But interchangeable. E40 on Mount Westmore, of course, E40's on it. And it's E40 short, Ice Cube. Oh, my bad. And Snoop Dogg. My bad, something's in my eye. It's kind of messing with me right now. But yeah, so you know, real hip hop was cinematic. Real rap was cinematic. This shit nowadays is it's there's no connection between the beat and the lyrics and the visual that they're giving you. There's really no connection there. It's all over the place. And so, you know, when you think of hip hop, real hip hop, I think of, you know, Cannabis, I think of KRS-One, Cool G Rap, Grand Pooba, LL Cool J. People never talk about LL Cool J. Slick Rick, like all these guys. Biz Markie. I'm talking about before Biggie and Big L. Big L was before Biggie and all that. But you know what I'm saying? Like the essence of it. And it's kind of like hip hop and rap held that essence all the way up until maybe 10, 12, maybe 15 years ago. It seemed like it just completely fell off. And that's just my opinion, how I see it. Because nowadays, a person ain't got to really come from that lifestyle to just grab a microphone and start rapping some shit. And they just put it out and they get tattoos on them. They give you an image. Or they were like a bitch before and then they go to prison and link up into a gang and they come out and they're just all of a sudden hardcore and they're gangstered the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a few of those too, everywhere. There are some good rappers that are solid, that are rappers, and they stay in that category. They don't bounce around and try to be West Coast rappers. They don't try to be East Coast rappers. They're just like rappers. If your style is your style, then I believe that's what's gonna make you or break you. So stick with it. Don't bounce around trying to do a bunch of other shit. Just stick with your what you think your niche is and who you really are. But you got a lot of motherfuckers just out here grabbing a mic and rapping some shit that they seen somewhere and putting it to themselves like they're talking about their life. And actually, it's pretty visible. It's pretty easy to see. And not only that, you hear a lot of these guys rapping other guys' cadence, other guys' flow to maybe this song and that song, using similar words, same words. I mean, a lot of shit's stolen nowadays. There's a lot of stuff stolen. A motherfucker like me that's almost 50 years old that was listening to it in the 80s, 90s, 2000s up to now, I've heard it all. We've, like us older cats that love music and love hip hop and rap, we've heard it all. And so we can hear something and be like, hey, that's fucking from this song, from Ice Cube, or it's from Be Legit, or it's Mac Dre, or there's people stealing everybody's shit. They're listening to their songs and their beats, and then they're coming up with a hook that sounds similar to it, same cadence and rhythm and flow and everything. You know what I mean? And to me, that's not creativity. To me, that's not the true essence of hip hop. And that's why it's been happening so much over the last 15 years or so that it's just killing everything. It's just killing the whole vibe, the whole energy. Where back in the days, you couldn't have any old regular dude just come out and start rapping, blah, 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 this and that, da, 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 and get a pass. Oh, well, it's dope, man. We're giving him a pass. Oh, but the dude ain't he ain't from where he's saying he's from. He's actually out here. Oh, it don't matter. He's not even really from that life. His dad's a dentist and his mama. Oh, it don't matter. The shit's tight, homie. The shit's tight. Back in those days, they wouldn't give people a pass like that. No one would even dare step up and try to do anything like that. Really, if a dude stepped up to jump on a mic and they were anywhere in New York, or they were anywhere in the Bay Area or down south, or even in the little parts in between, like where I'm from, Fresno, California, late 80s, early 90s, I remember the few rap battles I had on the curb, in the street, while I was slanging dope and slanging crack, trying to hurry up and get these dope sales out of the way in front of my house because I had dudes there with video camera, an MC that came from LA, from Corona, California. He was from Fresno, but he moved down to LA. And they used to call him Tigger. And it was the homeboy Chris, who goes by C Loco. C Loco. He calls himself C Loco now. He knows me. Big Chris. Me and that fool, we used to sit on the table and freestyle for hours smoking weed. I had some of the best weed ever. He'll tell you that. C Loco. That's a real dude right there. His shit is good too. His music's dope. I known dude for a long time, but I ain't spoke to him in a long time. But me and him used to sit at the table blowing weed in my mother-in-law's house when I lived there back in the early 2000s. And he come up in there, and once he found out I rapped, and I found out he rapped, we would just go at each other. And he's the one that eventually set the battle up with his brother, Big Tigger, coming from, and they're Mexican folks, coming from Corona, California. And you see, I was told that Tigger was this MC and you couldn't fuck with him or whatever. Well, from my recollection, I was getting on Chris pretty good in my raps lately when we would battle. And he didn't like it. He got pissed about it and started talking about how he had his older brother who was my age, because Chris was like 2 years younger than me, but he had an older brother that was my age because I was what, like 20, 21, 22, 23 maybe. And Chris was like 20, somewhere around there. And he's like, I got a brother that's your age and he raps and he's big tigger, bro. I'm gonna set it up. I thought it was bullshit. He told me, yeah, my brother's gonna come from Corona. Ooh, he's gonna battle. They got a video camera. He's coming in a low rider, all kinds of shit. And so it was like up to the minute, up to the day he told me one day, and then like 3 days later, he's calling me. He's like, hey, my brother's rolling up right now. And at that time, I already had a couple of friends of mine that was there. Some dude by the name of Big Feds was there, Cuban homeboy from up north from the Bay Area that rapped. He he was a fixture in the streets, but he was more he used to smoke a lot of Grimmies and he would sell at the same time so he could smoke for free. He knew all the spots, all the dope spots. He was there. He was buying dope off me. Happened to be there when dude rolled up. One of my brothers was there. My wife at the time was there, which was that was her mother's house, and my brother-in-law. And then the dude, we come outside and we see a lowrider. We live in a they made it a cul-de-sac. They cut off the railroads there years ago. We used to be able to drive across there on Clay Street, Clay coming over the tracks in between Blackstone and Clark, I believe, or in between Blackstone and Diana, which would be the tracks, right? It would be the tracks. So the tracks in Clay Street, they cut it off and it became a cul-de-sac. So we're up there chilling in the cul-de-sac and the lowrider rolls up. We see it. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, Chris just called me. I'm telling everybody that's there, and we're like, what the fuck? We look, we see the lowrider coming. It's a blue Impala, like a 68, no, 67. Might have been 68, no, 69, because it had that weird back window, right? Might have been a 69 Caprice, blue with mural on there. They roll up. They all get out. Chris is with them. And he introduced me to this my big bro, Big Tigger. All right, cool. Gets out with two hyenas and shit. It's like 5 of them all together. Rolls up, and we get one dude that gets out of the car. He had the driver. He ends up bringing a big old video camera, the old school ones. And I'm like, oh, you guys really gonna do this, right? And he shook my hand. He goes, oh, well, my brother told me that, you know, that you're good and shit and you're about your shit. So I want to see what's up, bro. Like, I'm about mine. You know, he's telling me, like, I'm with the shits, bro. I'm an MC, blah, blah, blah. I battle, I'll do street shit, whatever. I'm in the street. I said, same here, bro. You see what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying? We're smoking some weed. And while we're there, like I said, there was people rolling up to my house and I was making deals. Now, these aren't just people off the street. These are people that I knew that I was serving quarter ounces to half ounces or an ounce of CO, you know, Coke at the time. I wasn't serving street level folks. I was serving folks that were serving the street. So he's seeing that while this is going on. We're talking, they're looking, and, you know, kind of checking out what's going on. It's happening. Everything's happening right there. Finally, they start throwing some beats on. They got the camera on me and him, go back and forth a few times, probably like 2-3 times. He kept saying the same shit over and over after about the second time. I'm coming fresh, dope, off the brain, and I kill his ass. Basically, I kill him. You know, I beat him. Well, at the end, when I got him, and you know, everybody's like, oh, this and that, he starts acting like he's gonna pull a pistol out of his waist in the back, the small of his back. So when he does that, my brother-in-law, another homie, like, hey, motherfucker, don't be pulling no straps, bro. We got straps too. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. You're right here in our spot. This is our spot. You ain't gonna make it out of here, bro. You know, basically told him. He was mad. He's like, man, fuck that, blah, 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 blah. They recorded the whole thing. He was mad, talking about that he was drinking earlier. He's got a buzz. Let him go chill out and he'll be back and this and that. And he's like, oh, fuck that, blah, blah, blah. And you wrote that shit. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm coming up off the dome. I'm like, you just coming up with the same shit over and over and over again, saying it differently. Sometimes even saying it again, the same he was doing that. I'm like, nah, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? It's over. And they had it all on camera. They were supposed to give me the video 2 days later. What a coincidence. They lost the video. They lost the video of me beating them. But my point is this. That's the true essence of hip hop. Minus the street shit that was involved because we were two street people. For real. You know what I mean? C Loco was affiliated with College Street and the College Street Locals and all them. And Tigger was too. I'm not mistaken, but he was living down south at the time. So I had a lot of respect for those guys and still do. But that day it was a little bit, it almost went sideways. You know what I mean? So I've had battles like that. That wasn't my first battle like that or my last. I had a few battles like that in the street. I never wanted to become a rapper. I got thrown into it. One day at a party, one night, it was one of my cousin's parties on the west side. My cousin Wimpy's like 15th party or some shit like that. He goes like 17 or some shit like that, 18. And no, 17. And yeah, because I'm a couple years older than what, yeah. Okay. So, you know, I would always write shit in the room and rap it to my brothers, whatever, but I never rapped it or wrote anything and showed anything I wrote to anyone other than my brothers. Uh, because one time I did that and some motherfuckers were making fun of me, like, oh, this motherfucker sucks. But it was homies or whatever. And it was very early on. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to be a rapper. I just want to write for people. You know, I wanted to ghostwrite for people. I never wanted to rap until one day a homie was telling me, like, hey, man, if you're writing that shit, you can rap it. So I'm like, I'm trying to find a rapper to do this shit. You know, I'll teach him how to rap. I'll pull Ice Cube or whatever. But I couldn't find any. I needed to pour in some of my money. You know what I'm saying? Needed to put that thing through there and get a return on that. And I did that with me writing and rapping my own stuff. And I found production and a guy that ended up being a real good close friend of mine, Hip Dog with Beat Down Multimedia, Beat Down Productions. Dude knows everything. The dude taught me everything. I learned everything from him. Very smart. James Johnson in Fresno, California. James Hip Johnson, very smart dude. I've learned a lot from that guy. I've never forgot anything. But the true essence of hip hop was that it was made in the streets. It wasn't made in your room. It wasn't made on your front porch. It wasn't made in your backyard. It wasn't made in your fucking bathtub. It wasn't made on your damn little table eating your salads and shit like that. It wasn't made at the fucking park. And it wasn't made in the suburbs. Just saying. Doesn't mean that music can't come out of there, but I'm just saying it's not the truest essence of it, of its formation of hip hop. It's not the true essence of it. The true essence of it started in the street, on the street corners, in the curbs, battling because that's where everything's going on. That's where all the dealing's going on, all the dice games, all the card games, all that shit. And if you are somebody that's soft, you can't run around those circles. Back in those times, now it's just a dog eat dog world. Everybody's just taking each other out for each other's sacks and plugs and money, and people don't work clientele up no more from the bottom up. They just go try and rob somebody that's already got it going on. And then they fuck the money off, and then they got to go rob someone else, and then they end up getting killed somewhere down the line. So it's one of those things where, um, you know, the true essence of it is not there anymore, and that's the reason why I say that it is dead. And that's my whole point on that, why I believe it's dead. And so, you know, for those that are watching, for those that have been paying attention, thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. I hope you enjoy what you've heard so far. And keep watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.